All right, so Capricorn risings, this is your 2022 astrology forecast. I have my notes right here for you guys in this iPad, and I'm going to be pulling tarot cards to help describe what you guys are going to be experiencing with each of these transits coming up. Hopefully my camera's focusing. So if you guys want a personal reading, I am offering 2022 readings for your birth chart, and I highly recommend checking that out, or even tarot readings for the new year, but it's going to be much more personalized than this will be. So we're going to start off by talking about the North and South Node changing signs on January 18th. Also, I don't think I mentioned, but if you want a 2022 reading, it'll be linked in the description box below. Okay, so the North and South Node are changing signs into Taurus and Scorpio. So the North Node is in Taurus, moving from Gemini. South Node is in Scorpio, moving from Sagittarius. And this is happening in, the North Node is moving into your 5th house, and the South Node is moving into your 11th house. So what does the South Node look like for them? The South Node for a lot of us is about a lot of purging and releasing with Scorpio. And being in your 11th house, you guys might find that there are certain relationships or ideas about relationships that are shifting for you this year. Your friend groups could shift. You might find that your goals shift as well. And I definitely feel like you guys are going to start having a little bit of a new idea of what you want to do. With the North Node in your 5th house, something that is much more pleasurable, something that is much more creative, or feels like it's part of your purpose in a way that it's like bringing your essence to life. That's what the North Node in the 5th house is. It's how can we create work or life visions or relationships that are much more joyful. So for some of you, it might be relationships. I think for a lot of you, it will be like your career visions. I think those things could shift for you to becoming more creative and joyful. And so that's what I'm seeing here with this Queen of Swords, the Emperor, and the Sun. With the North Node in the 5th house, I don't typically think about these two cards. The 5th house is very highly associated with like joy and pleasure, and the Queen of Swords and the Emperor are kind of more like cutthroat or decisive or structured, and not as much of this like go with the flow, like whatever feels good kind of thing. So I feel like this is some advice with Taurus in there to bring the really grounded, practical way of following our creative visions. The Queen of Swords is us being very decisive and knowing what we want out of things, being extremely honest with ourselves about what we want. And the Emperor is then the person that comes in and implements everything. It's taking control. It's making the changes. It's facing things head on and not being afraid to take on responsibility for things that feel really honestly authentic in alignment for you. And with the Sun here, I feel like this is all about your purpose, your passions, your creativity, definitely your relationships in some facets. So you guys are really stepping into like responsibly and practically pursuing the things that bring you joy, either dating somebody or bringing a creative project to life or having children. There is some kind of level of having the pleasure and having the practicality. That's what I see with the North Node being in Taurus. With the South Node being in Scorpio in the 11th house, you guys might start to face some of your more, like with the Devil card specifically, you guys might start to see ways in which you have psychologically limited yourself based off of your visions for what you think that is possible in your life. The 11th house is a lot about like our hopes and dreams and wishes and plans for the future. So it's like where we kind of see our life heading. The 9th and 11th house have a lot to do with that. And with this Devil card next to the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like you guys have had a lot of limiting beliefs about doing things on your own, and with the Page of Wands creatively. So maybe some of you guys have had like certain ideas or visions, but when it comes to you and you think about taking a risk and leaving your job or starting something new that feels like it's a little bit outside of your comfort zone, I feel like a lot of you have been holding back. The 9 of Pentacles is all about us like making money on our own, doing things for ourselves that feels really good. And mixed with the Page of Wands, it's allowing yourself to like experiment with these brand new ideas that come to you that feel really exciting, that feel really adventurous, and that push the boundaries a little bit for your personality. So it's like, I feel like you guys want to experiment. You want to be financially independent. You want to be able to do those things and rely on yourself. But with the Devil here, it's like a lot of you guys have been getting caught up in the brain or in the mind and have been doubting whether you can do that or have that or not. And so having the South Node here, I think, is going to help you face whatever psychological things come up on your path or your journey to pursuing some new creative ventures or some new independent ventures or some new responsibilities that you're taking on your own by yourself. I think you guys are facing whatever limiting beliefs or negative mindsets that come up when you try to do those things. So it feels like this opportunity for you guys to push your boundaries and, like I said, step outside of your comfort zone to do something that is actually going to bring you a lot more joy, and that's going to feel like a true expression of your soul, which is all about the North Node in the 5th house. And also, if you guys like these like astrology mugs, I don't want to tilt it too much. I don't want to spill, but yeah, my sister makes these. She has like, this is a Gemini, Air, and Mercury. So it's all kind of like this really beautiful artwork. So if you're interested in something like this, just let me know in the comments below and I can get you hooked up. Okay, let's also talk about Jupiter now. Jupiter entering into Pisces. So Jupiter is entering into Pisces December 29th, so kind of right around the time of filming this, 1 week from now. And it's going to be entering into your 3rd house, and it's going to hang out there. It's going to dip into Aries around May for a little bit, but it will mostly be in your 3rd house. I like this a lot. Jupiter in Pisces is a place of self-compassion and like a lot more spiritual understanding, spiritual acceptance of people, and self-love. I feel like, especially being in your 3rd house, I feel like you guys, your mindset is going to improve drastically by having Jupiter move into Pisces in the 3rd. I feel like you guys are going to be able to lean a lot more on your intuition, your spiritual practice, and your creativity, and that is going to help you develop a much healthier mindset and release some of those devil energies of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough at this. I feel like you guys are going to start diving into your creativity and spirituality, and it's going to change your mindset to start to think, I can do this, or I am doing this. And I feel like it's going to give you guys a much more, just a much like stronger, more optimistic kind of hug within your mind. So I feel like you guys are going to start talking to yourself differently. And it's interesting because the 3rd house is also a lot about like busyness. So I see this, I was talking about this in the last group. Like I think that I see this a lot when I see people who are like, if they have Mercury here, like they'll maybe talk a lot or move around a lot, or Mars here, like we see people are very, very busy. So I feel like you guys are having Jupiter move into here, are finding a way to get into a flow. Maybe you guys have been extremely busy, or maybe you guys have been not busy enough, but I definitely feel like you guys are getting more into a flow of what the right amount of action is in your life. So Jupiter is helping you find a good balance, and it's also helping you to act on opportunities that truly have potential for abundance. With this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like Jupiter is coming in here and telling you, giving you the intuition and the wisdom to know, like, hey, this opportunity might seem great right now, but doesn't have the long-term potential for you. Let's not invest in that. That's why this is reversed to me. It's not acting on something that is presented to you. And since the 3rd house is about so much busyness, I feel like you guys are being presented constantly with things that you could be doing or ideas that you could act on. But Jupiter is coming in here and giving you wisdom. Jupiter is our learned wisdom from past lives and from the divine. And so you're getting this wisdom about how to discern what actions to take, what opportunities to act on, and what not to do. And with this Strength card, I also feel like it's helping you persevere on certain things that are good for you or do have that potential. So it's coming in here and uplifting your mindset, helping you tackle your demons, helping you get through the messy middle or the difficult aspects of projects or ideas. And it's basically giving you like a leg up or a boost internally, which is going to help you have a little bit more energy because you're not fighting yourself as much. And because of that, I feel like you're able to reach some level of success or recognition, especially because Jupiter in the third house can really expand everyone's awareness of us. So this can create new communities around us, especially if you're online. Like if you have a podcast, like I could see that blowing up, or if you have basically any kind of way of communicating and connecting with the outside world, that is going to open up those lines of communication even bigger and draw more energy into that because Jupiter attracts. And so we're going to have the potential here for you to get much more recognition for the things that you've been working on. The Six of Wands could be achieving some kind of like internet fame, or if you're not on the internet, it could be you guys achieving some kind of notoriety in your field or out in the public, like people really knowing you, you really connecting with your community, but not just connecting with them like, hey, we're friends, blah, blah, blah. The Six of Wands is like a person on a horse up above everyone else, and everyone else is below them cheering them on. They are like parading themselves. So there is this level of like notoriety or separation through recognition. So it's not like, hey, I'm your friend and I met you, you're my neighbor, we hang out. It's like, hey, everyone in my community sees me as the artist, or everyone in my community sees me as the therapist, and they all come to me and they all recognize my skill and they seek counsel from me. Those kinds of things. It's like people are coming to you or looking up to you for what you have to share through what you are sharing through your mind or through your communication. So it feels like multiple blessings coming through with Jupiter transiting your third house. But what does that mean when it transits our third? It means that Saturn is left alone to its own devices in the second house of your finances. Wherever Saturn is, especially alone, now that Jupiter is not helping it, wherever Saturn is where we have to face a lot of our fears, anxieties, our worries, and where we also have to put a lot more effort to maintain like not only positivity, but positive outcomes. Like we just have to put more effort into that area of our life. The universe is like, we're going to constrict this area so that you are challenged, so that you can grow. And for you, that's in the area of finances. So I definitely feel like since I was thinking that and I pulled the Five of Pentacles, I feel like this. I pulled the Five of Pentacles. This is a card about financial lack and feeling like you are having trouble managing your money, making money. A lot of this, it could be about more so worry rather than actually having an issue. But regardless, there is a lack mentality that is coming through pretty strongly with Saturn in your second. So you guys might feel like finances are a lot harder this year, or like you have to be a lot more discerning about your spending habits. It's your time to step up in responsibility in that area of your life. So it's a time for you to question your previous spending habits. It's a time for you to look at your budget, for you to look at how you make money, and be responsible in your decision making. I don't want you to be overly practical because you are meant to, with the North Node in your fifth house, gravitate more towards like things that bring you pleasure and joy in terms of career. So I don't want you guys to just like settle for being practical. That's not the message. The message is to be very careful with your existing funds so that you do have the potential to go out and take risks in your career without feeling like you are going to financially collapse. So the Five of Pentacles to me is a state of mind. It might not be your reality, but your state of mind will revolve around this. Saturn brings anxiety and fear. Even if that area of our life isn't actually an issue, because it's moving through that area of our chart, we can still feel that way. We can still feel like we have lack, or we can fear having lack even if we don't. And with the Eight of Wands reverse, this to me is indicating that things in your finances could slow down in terms of like things flowing to you really easily. You might have to work a little bit harder. Another thing that this is telling me is that you guys might find that you are being advised to slow your roll a little bit in finances. Reduce impulsivity. Don't take action right away. Make sure that you really truly want that purchase. Make sure that you really truly want to invest in that thing, because any kind of quick action could result in remorse, could result in more feelings of lack and kind of keep you stuck, or make you have to revert to some super practical decisions that are actually going against maybe some of this creative vision or these new opportunities that you can have coming. The Queen of Wands is telling me that you guys do absolutely have the potential to make money from your creative ventures. And it's a lot about having the confidence and the self-worth to know that you deserve those things. The Queen of Wands is probably one of the most, if not the most, confident cards in this whole deck. So a lot of this is about your self-image. And I think that a lot of this lack mentality is directly linked with a lack of confidence or lack of self-worth, or not living in alignment with certain values. So this is a year to get really clear on what those values are, how you measure up in terms of following or living in alignment with them, how you're budgeting, and how you view yourself or self-worth. So once you can kind of tackle those things, you'll find that your finances are actually quite stable, or they're actually fine. It's just a worry there about the what ifs rather than an actual concern. Okay, in terms of the best months for you guys, maybe not the best months, but like big energy months, is December and January. You'll have the sun in your first house those months, and you'll also have Venus in December in your first house. So this is helping you become more attractive. This is helping you create more finances in your life. Maybe reach a potential partner or have more beautiful things come in through your partnership. So there's a lot of potential here on those days or those months out of the year. Okay, so now let's talk about some other transits that are going on. I want to talk about Venus retrograde. So we are experiencing right now, as I'm recording this, Venus retrograde in Capricorn, which is your first house. This is happening with Pluto for the entire month of December, and it's going retrograde pretty much all of January until January 29th. And then it will go direct, but it won't even leave your sign of Capricorn until March. So really, you guys are actually having Venus in your sign for many months. Or in your first house for many months. So it's not just December that you'll have it, but you can expect it in December of 2022. But you can also you'll also experience Venus in your sign until March as well. So this is a really big deal. I think you guys are undergoing a huge metamorphosis. We all are, with this Venus-Pluto conjunction and Venus retrograde. I see this bringing up a lot of crisis situations for people, relationships breaking down, car accidents happening, physical accidents happening, people needing surgery, finances being really stressed. There's a lot going on, but all of these things are happening to put pressure on us to look towards the past. All of these things might bring up old dreams, old partners, old issues, so that we can really reassess and examine about how we've dealt with those things in our life. And if we haven't dealt with them, they are going to really come up to be finally closed out or finally addressed in a new way, in a new layer. And so the fact that this is in your first house is having a really big impact on you in general. This is going to look different for everyone, but a lot of you guys are realigning your life with your values. So some of you guys might be it's gonna be different. Some of you guys might be having self-worth issues or relationship issues or money issues or all of the above, or physical health issues. This is your first house, or even career issues, like where am I going? All of those things are gonna be tightly looked at under a microscope. And I think it's about really trying to understand what wants to birth through you. And sometimes we have to check in about what hasn't been going right, or again, what issues haven't been fully addressed in the past in order for us to start birthing something new. So pretty much all of January, you guys are going to be doing that past reflection. And then February, March is really about you guys getting clear about how you want to move forward, how those things from the past could be wrapped up, resolved, and help direct more energy into what you truly value in your life. And I think a lot of you guys are going to be in this interesting phase of experimentation. That's what I see a lot when I see the Page of Pentacles, is some kind of person who is lacking sureness in themselves. And so I think a lot about Venus retrograding in your first is about you getting clearer about what it is that you're trying to establish in your life. And the only way that we can get clearer sometimes is by trying on different things or trying out different things in our life. So I feel like this Page of Pentacles is encouraging you guys during this phase to really dabble in the things that interest you and not put so much pressure on having all of the answers right away. It's an experimental energy, and it's through experimenting that I think that you guys are going to end up at the King of Pentacles. You guys are on like a brand new journey, but you don't have all the pieces. And so this, on top of having numerous priorities, it's like, I feel like the universe isn't trying to give you exactly what you should be doing for homework. The universe is saying like, well, you can decide. Here are all your options. Here are your values. Here are the things that you need to look at. And then here are some things that interest you. Here are some things that you're meant to like kind of pursue. But there might be, again, like a dabbling or an experimental aspect of this. Like maybe you're interested in a certain kind of project, but you don't know exactly how that will unfold. And it's like the best way to find out is by trying different methods, by trying different things to get there. Again, it's not about having all of the answers, because I really don't feel like you're meant to with these cards. I think that you're meant to practice and try different things, and then manage those new things that you're dabbling with existing priorities that you have. So this is like the balancing of those. You guys might have a job, but you're interested in maybe starting a side business. And so, but you're not really sure how that would go or even exactly what you want to do. So maybe you dabble a little bit, but you keep your existing priority of your job, that kind of thing. So that's an example. There can be lots more examples, but there's a need to maintain both like circuits of energy, like putting energy into both. And that might switch, like it might not always be the same amount of energy, like you might oscillate a little bit, but it's all about making sure that you don't drop any of the plates just by trying to dabble or experiment with something new. Because I feel like a lot of times Venus can also bring about like our creative ventures. Venus is all about art. And so that might be something that comes through strongly for you guys. Maybe some of you guys are artists or have interests in things that are artistic in nature, like music or design or literally anything. It doesn't have to just be art. But I feel like you guys are meant to be, again, experimenting until you get to this King of Pentacles. So I feel like you'll kind of, this Venus retrograde, this Venus transit even until March, is giving you guys that time to dabble, that time to try things out. And then I feel like after that, you will find something around March or after March that you can kind of grasp onto and build onto. So I feel like this is the advice for you guys, is to play around. Don't take things too seriously, but make sure you keep up with your priorities and your existing priorities or responsibilities. And then that playfulness, because the North Node is in your 5th house, so it's about playfulness. The playfulness and experimenting energy will help you find the actual path that you can commit to. So take some of that pressure off. With this Nine of Swords, I feel like the Nine of Swords and Page of Swords, like you guys want to venture into new territory. You want to learn and try new things, but you also are like crippling yourself with anxiety and with worry. And I do feel like it's kind of pointless. Like I don't think that you guys actually need to worry as much as you are worrying. You want to be, these two pages here, you want to be like trying new things, like really taking yourself on a little exploration and adventure. And I think that you guys are just taking it way too seriously with this Nine of Swords and putting all your pressure on yourself to have everything figured out when that's not what the universe is looking for out of you. And if you can just embody that playfulness energy, that trial and error energy, you will find your King of Pentacles foundation to build upon. So don't try to start off with this in mind. Try to start off with what feels good and gravitate towards that. Okay, so now let's talk about March 2nd. So on this day, we're going to have Venus conjunct Mars and conjunct Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn in your 1st house. So I feel like this is kind of talking about or addressing things that we were just talking about with you guys pursuing some things that you find are really helping you guys creatively, things that interest you, experimenting, dabbling with all that. So I feel like in March, you guys might feel more confident in something that you've dedicated yourself to. With this Hierophant card, it's like you guys joining some kind of community of people who have similar interests or work on that thing. Like I feel like you guys are gonna dabble, blah, blah, experiment. Then you land on something that really sounds good to you with this King of Pentacles, something that you wanna build. And then you go further into that with this Hierophant card. You study it, or you go to school, or you go and join this community and start honing your skill. It's like really dedicating yourself to a craft or going further into something that feels in alignment. And so this Hierophant card is telling me that as you go more into this, as you commit to this on March 2nd, Mars and Pluto, those are obsessive kind of all-in type of energies. And Venus is asking you to commit to your creative vision. So whatever it is that's exciting to you, the Hierophant card is saying you commit, you go in, you become responsible, you learn more about it, you master your craft more. And then you have the Six of Wands and Queen of Wands, which is all about having So, sorry, my friend just stopped by and I just lost track of where I was. But essentially, what I feel like you guys are doing is honing some kind of craft or interest. And with the Queen of Wands and Six of Wands, I think it's going to give you a lot of confidence in yourself. I feel like you're going to be, with the Six of Wands, showing yourself much more proudly, like owning your skills, owning the things that you're doing. And I feel like once you start diving into this vision or this thing that feels really in alignment for you, you're going to realize like how much better you feel as a person. And you're going to really step into shining your light or wanting to be more visible, wanting to put your work out there a lot more. And I think that's also going to equally help you attract more financial success with Saturn in the second house. Okay, let's talk about April 4th, where Venus is conjunct Saturn and Mars in your second house. So this can kind of bring up those issues around money that we were talking about earlier. We've got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles, and oh, it's a lot of cards. Do I want to do all these cards? Fine. So many. Ten of Cups, Strength, Ten of Swords, Nine of Wands, and Queen of Cups. Goodness gracious. You guys have a lot of energy around finances this year. I feel like it's definitely a major concern of yours, even though it might not necessarily need to be one. Okay, so on this day with Venus and Saturn and Mars in your second, this is all about, with Saturn and Mars, it's often about ending something. And so I do feel like some of you guys might have, on April 4th, you might have to end something or say no to certain opportunities with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Swords. And even the Nine of Wands, I feel like there's something that you guys have been working on for a while, or that you've been in a job, or you're doing something that is actually not like energizing you at all anymore. It's starting to drain you. It's starting to take from you. And I think that you guys intuitively know with this Queen of Cups that you want to leave it behind. It's not emotionally fulfilling. And I think you're going to flow or feel so much lighter once you do let go of whatever this thing is. So that's what I'm seeing is like you guys are going to have some opportunity to leave some source of income behind, and it could be really scary for you. It could produce quite a bit of worry with this Ten of Cups and Strength. I feel like it's asking you to have compassion and confidence in your decision. With this Strength card, it's like you can do this. You have the Ten of Cups waiting for you on the other side of this decision. So I think that some of you guys might be fearful of letting something go, but it's saying that it's going to lead to your ultimate happiness, and that the biggest battle is really with your mindset. So it's about rejecting something coming towards you, or ending something that you are already doing. I kind of feel like it's already happening. Even though it's an Ace of Pentacles, I feel like it's something existing in your life with the Nine of Wands that you've been really chugging along with that's just not working anymore. The Knight of Pentacles to me is telling me that you were meant to dedicate yourself more to that thing that came up with the King of Pentacles. You're here to dedicate yourself more to whatever craft or vision or idea comes in for you that feels really exciting and creative and alignment. So you're going more into something that feels like on your own, independent, or that feels more in alignment with you, like it's using your skills and your gifts, and you're pulling yourself away from certain things in regards to finances that actually feel like they are draining your energy or just not offering much into your life besides financial support. So don't be afraid to make kind of cutthroat decisions at this time and trust your intuition, because you know what feels right for you it is right for you. So I think sometimes we just need to hear that as a confirmation. Okay. Now I'm going to look at April 13th when Jupiter is conjunct Neptune in your 3rd house. So this is a really beautiful time for healing. Healing around our mindset and communication. Healing around the way that we view ourselves. I think it's such a positive time to connect deeper with our divine selves as well. And with this 10 of Swords, I feel like it is helping you lay to rest certain ways in which you may have abused yourself or over worried in terms of your mind and anxiety. I think that this is your opportunity to really step into a lot of self-compassion. Eight of Wands in reverse. And I feel like this is, the 8 of Wands in reverse is helping you calm like a very overactive mind. It's like ending the overactive mind that tends to go way into the future, that tends to worry about things that aren't here yet or that don't exist. It's like you're creating these worrisome realities and letting your mind kind of like go in 100 miles a minute. And this 10 of Swords is saying like, it's finally like a cessation of those thoughts and feeling like you have a lot more clarity about what you want to do next. Feeling like you are not coming from clarity in terms of, even though like the 3rd house is a lot about like our rational, logical mind and we can make a plan, like this is what my schedule looks like. I feel like with Neptune involved, it's a very spiritual understanding of what's next for you. It's not just like, oh, I think I want to do this tomorrow and like this is my goal that I'm setting. It's like, this is my divine assignment. This is what I feel in my heart and in my soul is the right direction, even if all the pieces are not super clear. So this Sun card is telling me you have clarity through intuition, through your heart. And yes, you might have clarity in your mind as well, but I think it's coming from a much richer and deeper place than just like making a schedule or making a plan. So I feel like you guys are having also a lot more optimism coming into you, having more just feeling vibrant, feeling better, more confident because you have found something that feels like it's a career that's in alignment with you or some way of making money or some project that's in alignment with you. I think a lot of this is going to cultivate that happiness and optimism about the future instead of worrying so much about all the things that are ahead. You guys just won't stop getting this 6 of Wands. Wow, what is going on? So the next date that I have is April 30th when Venus is conjunct Jupiter and Pisces in the 3rd. This is a time where we start to receive blessings. And I definitely feel like you guys are getting some kind of blessing in terms of an opportunity coming your way, of more recognition coming to you. The 6 of Wands just won't stop coming up. So let me actually pull out the guidebook and see what other terms are in line with the 6 of Wands. All right, so 6 of Wands terms are victory, acclaim, sharing joy, celebrating community, being lifted up by others, overcoming challenges, rising star, moving with confidence into the next chapter, levity, feeling supported, admiration, leadership, alliance, achieving recognition. So I kind of feel like since this is talking about Jupiter and Venus in your 3rd house, I definitely feel like this is a lot about community. It's a lot about people supporting you. And I think that you actually can make connections or have certain individuals provide opportunities for you based off of this. So it's people uplifting you to help you get into your next chapter and giving you ideas, inspiration, or even like an actual opportunity to take action on something for you to further down this path. So that seems very, very beautiful. Now let's go ahead and check out Mars in Aries in your 4th house, squaring Pluto in your 1st house. This is happening on July 1st. And I do feel like this is related to what we were talking about at the beginning on March 2nd, where we have Venus, Mars, and Pluto all coming together in your 1st, where you guys were, I think, definitely kind of analyzing what, like what opportunities were meant for you and what weren't. I mean, that's something coming up a lot. But anyway, we'll see what this is when I pull some more cards. But Mars in the 4th and Pluto in the 1st. This square between these planets can create a lot of not defiance, but like resilience. Like, we want this, like we will get this, we will achieve this by working hard. And with Mars in the 4th, you guys might be drawn to achieve like some level of comfort in your life, or like work hard to have some kind of stability in your life. But with Pluto in the 1st, there's also part of you that wants to regenerate or like challenge yourself through letting go, challenge yourself through taking risks on things. And so I feel like you guys might have a little bit of tension between these two areas. And I'm pulling the 4 of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the 9 of Pentacles. So I feel like this is you guys maybe being hesitant about pursuing something in particular that has a potential to give you like more financial independence. So with the 4 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, it does feel like you guys are not so sure about some kind of blessing that the universe is trying to give you, because I think that there are two sides of you. There's sides of you that wants to be more comfortable and stable, and then there's a side of you that wants to like push your edge, push your boundaries, and grow at this time. And so you might kind of be oscillating back and forth, and part of you wants to take action on this endeavor. Part of you knows that there's a lot of like financial potential and long-term potential for this, but then also part of you worries and has anxiety. So I guess what I'm saying is I definitely think you guys should take action on whatever comes up around this time. Maybe it's something that's already been existing that you've already been taking action on, but you feel yourself doubting it, and it's telling you to go further into it, to further explore it, to not pull back your energy. So if you have been experiencing a little bit of that doubt, it's just here to make your resolution stronger in the end as you overcome that doubt, rather than to actually be some kind of source of thwarting your endeavor. Okay, let's look at August 1st, where we kind of have a lot going on. So we will have let's move this all forward. We're going to have Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus in the 5th house. And it's going to square Saturn in the 2nd and sextile Venus and Cancer in the 7th. So this is a lot about what I was saying all along, where I definitely feel like you guys have some kind of like creative vision, something that feels like much more passionate, feels like much more of an expression of your soul. And with Mars conjunct Uranus there on August 1st, it's going to like, I just got this image of like someone taking a match and like striking it and it's starting a fire. So that's what I'm seeing, is like you guys are having something light up or turn on within you at that time. So some brand new idea of something to start, and it is a wish come true. It is something that is exactly what you've been looking for in terms of having like a breakthrough in that creative vision, or a breakthrough in whatever it is you've been working on or wanting to work on. So the 9 of Cups is like, yes, this is what we've been looking for. This is what I want. But with the square Saturn the 2nd, I feel like it's representing the Hangman and the 5 of Wands, where there's still part of you that has a lot of insecurity, especially around finances and your stability within finances. And it's making you question things. It's making you have kind of like these internal arguments where it's like, should I do that? Should I not do that? What effect is this going to have or not? Like a lot of energy in the mind that's leading to like a stasis, or this feeling of being stuck, like not acting on something. So I definitely want you guys to lean on your relationships with the sextile of Venus in the 7th. People from the outside are going to give you the exact advice that you need at this time. So really lean on people, really trust people, talk to people about it, open up to them, because they have the missing ingredient. They have the thing that you need to hear to get past your own mindset blocks and limitations around money. Because I feel like you guys are trying to be practical and safe, which is always good. But at the same time, you need to push the boundaries to achieve your wishes, to achieve your big dreams. And so listen to other people in order for them to support you, to help you move past those limitations. The last thing I want to talk about is Mars retrograding in Gemini. This is happening in your 6th house. It's happening from October 30th to January 13th of 2023. So Mars retrograding in the 6th house can ask us to kind of reevaluate where we've been putting our energy in terms of responsibilities. Let me clean these up. And I think a lot of you guys might start to look at certain areas of your life and ask yourself, am I receiving equally what I'm putting out? And the reason I say that is because I pulled the Justice card, and the 6th house in particular is the house of slavery. It's the house where we have very unequal relationships. So like we are expending a lot and not receiving a lot. Like that's how I see the 6th house. And so the fact that I pulled this Justice card is, to me, asking you guys to really look at that area or any area of your life where you might feel like the energy output does not even remotely equal what people or circumstances are giving back to you. So for example, the 6th house has a lot to do with like our employer. If you're working for someone and you are busting your ass for them and they're not giving you anything in return, and you feel like you have to pinch every penny with these 4 of Pentacles, and you have to really, you know, scrimp and save, otherwise you can't survive, but yet you have no time and energy to do other stuff because you're giving so much to that person or that career. This is telling you that you guys are not being treated fairly, and Mars retrograde is asking you to stop the action and to really reflect on what you're doing. Reflect on how you are giving, how you're giving to your career or to a relationship, to any area of your life, to any kind of thing that acts as a responsibility. There needs to be a reflection on whether or not this is truly serving you in terms of being like replenishing your energy. Because I feel like a lot of you guys with this Justice and 4 of Pentacles are really like have a lot of scarcity because you're giving too much of something, and yeah, and it's not fair. And with the 3 of Swords and the Tower, oh goodness, I definitely feel like this realization can definitely lead to some pain. I think that you guys might end something. If this is a relationship in particular, I could see you guys like realizing that, hey, I'm always giving to this person and I feel like I have to just take whatever I can get from them, but I never truly get fully what I need. And so this is causing me a lot of heartache. This is causing me a lot of discomfort, and so I need to do something about it with this Tower. So it's like I definitely think that this could be an uncomfortable time, a realization about where people or jobs or circumstances aren't living up to your needs or expectations, and having to do something about it. And when you do something about it, it is going to hurt. It is going to be challenging. It is going to take away something foundational in your life, but ultimately it's going to bring about a lot more happiness. Let's pull a card about what the outcome is once you guys leave behind whatever is imbalanced in this dynamic. What is the outcome? The 7 of Pentacles. I like that. This is something that's like has a lot of long-term potential. So the thing that you are taking away, like you're investing a lot of energy into something that's not investing equally back to you. The 7 of Pentacles is telling me that you'll finally have that energy to invest into things that have long-term potential. So you can take the energy that you're giving to that person, that job, that thing, and put it into you, or put it into some area of your life that is very important to you, or into a different kind of relationship that will support you, that will have that longevity to it. So it's about not just like removing this energy and being upset about it, but also replacing it or putting it into a different area of your life so that that area of your life can grow. So this is really beautiful for you guys. It might not feel beautiful at the time, but ultimately it's giving you guys a lot more in the long run, a lot more abundance, a lot more prosperity, because you are putting your energy where it matters or where it's appreciated and where it has potential to grow, instead of just kind of slowly dying off, and you're putting energy into something that's dying and it just takes more and more energy and it's not helping you. It's like, no, put it into a fertile ground. And it might not be right there, right away growing, but at some point you will reap the rewards from that when you put the energy into something that that has that potential. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say for you guys, the last thing I'm going to do is pull an animal card for how you are starting and ending the year. So you're starting the year as the rabbit, and you are ending the year as the whale. Wow. So I definitely feel like you guys are starting this year quite busy, maybe a little bit worried and anxious, kind of like not gathered, like scattered, I guess is what I meant to say. Like scattered energy is how I see, like the rabbit is running here, the rabbit's running there. It kind of reminds me of the squirrel. Like, you know how you're driving across the street sometimes and the squirrel will be like, do that sketchy thing where it starts to run, then it stops, and it goes the opposite direction and just like doesn't really know what it's doing. It doesn't commit usually to like, I'm gonna just run across the street. And so because it does that start and stop thing, it runs the risk of being run over. And so I feel like you guys are scattered a little bit, or you're kind of going here and kind of going there, and your like mental clarity is not maybe there, like your mind's all over the place or your energy's all over the place. You're busy, maybe anxious, but also like excitedly pursuing different things, like ungrounded in a lot of ways, or not super focused and direct. And so that can lead a potential of risk. Like you could get run over by just being all over the fucking place. Or you could run yourself over. It's like not a healthy way of being. It's stimulating. It's like overly stimulating. But then you're ending the year as the whale. The whale is extremely profound, very peaceful, very wise. It's slow and takes meaningful practice or meaningful steps. So it's like, I definitely feel like your energy is completely shifting by the end of the year. You guys are going to do a massive deep dive into yourself. You're going to understand a lot about yourself, especially with these major Venus transits in your first house at the beginning of the year, and even Pluto being activated throughout the year through transits, and also in your first house. You guys are going through a period of deep reflection, and I think it's going to help you feel a lot more grounded, but into like your intuition, into your spirituality. And so I think it's going to help you become much more meaningful and purposeful in your actions, in your thoughts, in your behaviors. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Capricorn. If this resonates, please like and comment down below and subscribe. And if you guys are interested in 2022 reading, then go ahead and check those out in the description box below. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.